Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Red State dated November 6th. It says the next big year may not be 2028, but 2030. And the site is very red. I know it's called Red State, but it's very red all of a sudden. But hey, vindicating Trump. There we go. All right, so let's get into this. It says, while we're all still celebrating the wins from this 2024 election contest, it's not too soon to look ahead. The 2026 midterms aren't all that far off. It's like, Jesus Christ, we just got done with this presidential election. Yeah, the 2028 election will be happening before we know it. But there are other events of great import on the horizon, and one of those is the 2030 census, the reapportionment of congressional seats, and the allotment, the allotment of presidential electoral votes that comes along with it. And yeah, and this is kind of why I wanted to bring up is that Ben Shapiro mentioned this, and he mentioned it on his show as well, about how the census actually came out and said, like, we didn't count things right, before the last time we did it. And let's just say there's electoral votes that should be going to play, or that are going to places that they shouldn't be going to. So it says on Wednesday, Ben Shapiro dropped this map on X, and it's interesting. And I'm going to read what he says here. I know I don't typically read the embedded tweets, but it's worth saying it. It says, hey, Democrats, I have some more unfortunate news for you. Here's what the electoral map looks like after the 2030 census. Republicans likely pick up 12 electoral votes through population growth. And everything in red is losing something, and it's the exact states you expect it to be. California, New York, Illinois, that's where I am. And then, of course, Oregon and Minnesota, and then, Pennsylvania, okay. And then looks like there might be some red in there, but it doesn't, or it might be -1 from Rhode Island, actually. And then gaining electoral votes will be Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. So it's like, yeah, basically the people from California, New York, and Illinois are moving to Texas or Florida and Tennessee to a lesser degree, but yeah, so there you go. So as Ben has given us something to think about, but as is so often the case, the blade has two edges. Well, at least it might. The data Ben Shapiro presents comes from the American Redistricting Project. This congressional representation is reapportioned every decade following the completion of the decennial census. Each year, the Census Bureau produces the Population and Housing Unit Estimates Program. The most recent estimate was released in December of 2022. A weighted average growth rate is applied to the July 1st, 2022 estimates of the resident population of the United States from the Census Bureau to produce a forecast for the 2030 apportionment. So bear in mind this is a projection, and 6 years out at that. Even so, the map, if even close to accurate, has some interesting implications such as California. As California has, for decades, been a problem for Republicans in presidential elections. California, despite what is essentially one-party rule in Sacramento, still sends Republican members to the House of Representatives. But the once and former Golden State also presents a difficult-to-overcome monolith of 54 electoral college votes. Donald Trump was able to overcome that built-in Democrat advantage by smashing through the much-touted blue wall like the Kool-Aid man. Nice. The only thing he was missing was the shout of, oh yeah! But while the current California 54 will still be obtained in 2028, 2032 may be very different. This estimate has California dropping to 49. And where do many of those seats go? And of course, they're exactly who I mentioned before. It's Texas and Florida. And they're projected to gain each 4 seats, bringing Texas to 44 and Florida to 34. And added 6 points will go, 1 each, to several other mostly red states: Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. These seats are at the cost of 1 each from blue states Oregon and Minnesota, and 1 each from 2 swing states that went for Trump this year, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. The 2 more deep blue states, Illinois and New York, are projected to lose 2 and 3 seats, respectively. That could be a game changer for the next decade. But, as always, there may be a catch, because isn't there always? As someone famous once said, predictions are hard to make, especially about the future, and this possible future is 6 years away. Much can change in that time. Democrats' efforts to turn Texas blue appear to have failed utterly for now, but things change. It's important to remember that Colorado was a red state as recently as the 80s, and in 2000, Florida was a desperately fought-over swing state. California elected Ronald Reagan as governor not once but twice. Things can change, and we can't always predict how. The next census, one way or another, will have a significant impact on American politics, but we likely won't know precisely how it happens. Until then, it's all speculation. And Ben Shapiro did say that, like I was mentioning before, that the census came out when this was done and said that they didn't count it right in the first place. And I remember seeing that. So, like, there are actually electoral votes out there now that are applied to states like California that shouldn't have as many as they have. So, hopefully, if things stay the way they are and it gets apportioned this way, that'll be good. So, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Just thought this was kind of interesting. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.